everybody, my name is Alex and I am here today to bring you my September wrap-up slash my Read Your Bookshelf-a-thon round 6 wrap-up as well. They are essentially the same thing, so I thought I'd do it in one video. For those who don't know, the Read Your Bookshelf-a-thon is a readathon that's hosted by Miranda at Books 101, and she does them in various times of the year. The last one was September 22nd through the 29th, and I participated in it, but not as much as I did the last time she did one. I put a picture of books I wanted to get through on my Instagram, and I will put that picture up now. This was the bookshelf of books that I wanted to read. I read one book. The first book I read in September, I finished a couple days into the Read Your Bookshelf-a-thon. It took me all month, but it was well worth it. And that book was Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. This book is a post-apocalyptic book. It's about a troupe of actors and musicians who go around in this post-pandemic America, Midwestern Michigan area, and they bring Shakespeare and music to the towns that have made it through the pandemic that has wrecked the world. I was just thoroughly impressed by the storytelling in this book. It was a book that I wanted to read as fast as I could, but also I wanted to read as slow as I could to prolong the adventure, and it is beautifully written. This book I gave 5 out of 5 stars because possibly one of my favorite books I've read this entire year. The first book I read is called Catering to Nobody by Diana Mott Davidson. It's about this woman named Goldie who has a catering business, and at the very beginning of the book she's catering a funeral. Somebody ends up being poisoned during the luncheon after the funeral. Obviously that's not good for her business. She takes it upon herself to help the police figure out who did the poisoning. One of the things I really liked about this is because she runs a catering company, this is sort of like a foodie mystery novel, and there's actual recipes right from like stuff she's making in the book. It is the first in a series of 10 or 11 right now. I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars. And the last book I finished this month was Landline by Rainbow Rowell, and this is the book that I started and finished during Read Your Bookshelf-a-thon round 6. It's about a woman named Georgie who has a TV show writer career, and she's about to get her own TV show with her partner. Her family's supposed to go visit her husband Neil's parents that live in Omaha for Christmas, and she decides to stay in LA and work on the project, the TV show project, rather than go with her family. And at some point Georgie ends up at her mother's house using an old landline that she used to have in her room, and she ends up calling her husband to talk to him. And instead of getting current day Neil, she gets Neil the week before he proposes to her. This book is definitely not my favorite Rainbow Rowell book. This book is one of those books that doesn't magically fix everything. The reality in something can't really be fixed in 3 days. I stopped doing this one thing forever and everything will be good. I don't think that's really how relationships work at any point, whether it's romantic relationships or friendships or anything like that. So that was really a nice thing to see, something super realistic in this book. I also really liked the idea of a time-traveling landline. I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars. So those 3 books were the books that I read in September. I also listened to a couple of books. The first book I listened to was The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. The Goldfinch is about a boy. There's a bomb explosion in a museum and he ends up accidentally stealing a painting, or saving a painting from rubble but not telling anyone about it. And so it's his life according to how he grows up and becomes a man and the trouble he gets into. And man, I wish I could tell you that I liked this book. But it was so slow, even when somebody was reading it to me. I think had I been actually reading it, I would have stopped reading this book. Now don't get me wrong, I'm sure lots of people out there love this book, but I'm not a fan. So I gave this book 2 out of 5 stars. The other book I listened to in September was The False Prince by Jennifer A. Nielsen. It's about 3 boys who have been chosen to compete, to be chosen to impersonate a prince that is thought to be dead of this kingdom. Our main character, Sage, is one of the orphans that has been chosen. He is this sassy, snarky, stubborn. He, I think, makes me love this series. He cares about the people around him, even the ones that are below his stature or whatever. The characters were all great. Even the villains were great characters. This is the first book in the Ascension trilogy, and I have since moved straight on to the second book, which is The Runaway King, I think. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. I hope you enjoyed Do Your Reading in September, and that you got the books read that you want to get read. And I will see you next time. Bye!